All right, the World Cup is about to start, and if you're going to watch, you're probably breaking your head to figure out how the round of 32 is going to be determined because you have third place teams that will play group winners, but who plays who? For example, here you have the group winner from Group E will play either 3A, B, C, D, or F. And over here you have the group winner from Group I will play either third place from C, D, F, G, and H. How is that determined? Well, you came to the right place because in this video, I'm going to explain how the process is done. The first stage, the group stage, is pretty simple. First and second team move on to the round of 32. If your team comes in third place, they may qualify, they may not, and then in the next slide we're going to determine who moves on, who doesn't. And if you came in fourth place, pretty simple, you go home. So now let's look at the criteria to determine whether as a third place team you move on to the round of 32. So the first criteria is who has the most points. FIFA is going to create a table similar to this, and teams 1 through 8 qualify for the next round, and 9, 10, 11, and 12 go home. So who has the most points is the first criteria. Then goal difference, who scored the most goals, who got scored the least, and the last one is key, is world rankings. Take a look at place 8 and 9. Let's say that the team from Group L has the same point, goal difference, goal score, least goal score with D3. Who moves on? That's where world ranking has a big part in determining who moves on. If team L3 is ranked number 45 and team D3 is ranked number 51, then L3 moves on to the round of 32 and D3 goes home. And this is where your world ranking can play a crucial role whether you move on to the next round. So far, this is easy. We create a table. We have 5 different criteria to determine who moves on and who doesn't. Pretty simple. But now this is where we start having a problem because we have 12 group winners and only 8 third place team. So who gets a third place team as a rival in the round of 32? Now FIFA has already predetermined that these groups do not get to play versus a third place team. Groups C, F, H, and J. How this was done, I have no idea. But just understand that groups C, F, H, and J will not get a third place team. And now it gets even weirder because it's also been predetermined that the winners of Group A can only face a third place team from Group C, E, F, H, or I, and so on with the other groups. So is there a formula to then, once you have this table of the third place team, to determine who goes in here? There's really no formula because you can have so many variations of which teams qualify as third place team. But let's go through an example so that you can actually see what FIFA is going to have to go through. They're going to have to do it manually. So now the criteria to play third place team is number 1, you're going to reward group winners. You're going to spread teams from the same side of the draw. This was kind of weird. I had to go and research a little bit more. What does that mean? So let's hold the presentation and let's understand that a little bit more. Once this bracket is created, once all of the teams are played in their respective matches, you're going to have 2 sides to this bracket, a right side and a left side. In some other images, you might have like a top bracket and a bottom bracket. Regardless, but let's use this image right here. Left bracket, right bracket. Once you're in those brackets, the right bracket will never play a team from the left side unless they meet at the final or in the third and fourth place match. One of the things that FIFA wants to do is make sure that the brackets are evenly rated. They don't want one bracket to be stronger than the other. They don't want the best teams to be all in one bracket. So they're going to move teams around in order to create a more balanced tournament. So that's what that means. That's what that criteria means. The third objective that FIFA has is to keep the bracket fixed and transparent. By doing this ahead of time, there can be no suspicions as to, oh, this team got this third place team because it was going to be easier for them to move on. So by doing this ahead of time, it takes any suspicion out of the tournament for rigging or anything like that. And the last criteria that we have in terms of how we create this round of 32 matches is that a team cannot play a rival that were in their group. For example, Team A1 cannot play Team A3. And that's why you have this table right here where Team A could only play C, E, F, H, and I, and it's already predetermined. So now let's look at an actual example of how this can happen. So let's continue with our example now. You have to understand that this is one of thousands of possible outcomes that can occur. So we're just going to go through this manually. And this is what FIFA is going to have to do once all of the group matches are done. And once they create this table to determine who plays who. Now, if you look at this scenario, A, B, C, and D are out of the round of 32. If you look at Group E, they could only play a team from Group A, B, C, and D, but they're no longer in the tournament. They went home. So the only team they can play is Team F. So we need to make sure that Team E has a third place team opponent. So Team F has to come here. At this point, we can take F out of every single possible group that could have played them. And we got them over here. And we're done. So now Group A, let's take the groups that are no longer here. And I wonder if it's going to have artificial intelligence do this. Team B is no longer here. They went, no. Let's undo that. They went home. Team A went home. Team C and D went home. So this starts bringing the rivals to a lower number. Okay, so now we have Group A can only play E, H, and I. So let's give them Group E. Let's not move anything out yet. Team B can play E, G, and H, but we already gave them E, so that leaves G, I, and J. Let's do G. Team D can only play E, I, and J, and E is already taken. I and J are here, so let's put I in here. We already determined that one. Here is E, H, I, and J. Let's put H versus G. Now Team I can only play against G and H. Uh-oh, we have a problem. But here's the solution. He gets H. All right, cool. And we can give this team J. Now about K, well, they can get L. And they can get K. And voila. We have our round of 32, at least for the group winners versus the third place team. And this is how FIFA is going to have to do this. Actually, manual. Because again, we don't know which teams are going to end up in third place. Let's fix this. And there we go. So hopefully this gives you a better insight into how FIFA is going to determine this round of 32 matches between the group winners and the possible third place opponent. Questions, Enzo?
No.
You got it this time?
I got it.
All right, so we're set. So this is how the madness is going to go. This is going to be really interesting because once the group stage is done, who gets to place who? Some teams are going to go from the right side of the bracket into the left side, or some from the left into the right. So then we're going to have a pretty interesting tournament.